did. There's a guy, his name is John Johanna. He gets a job. He goes and gets on a train, gets a job somewhere. It's supposed to be great. It's terrible. He leaves. Is the basic plot, which is the same as James' song. The name changes around different versions. The version that I'm working off of is from Harry Smith's anthology.
Oh, wow. Far out.
So that's...
The ones that he mentioned last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is probably, different sources say it's probably the earliest recording of the song, earliest sound recording, by Kelly Harrell. Let's see. So, also the tune is kind of similar to the Idaho song, I think. If it's modal, not major. But, so the origins they're unknown. Some people say it's minstrelsy, that's what Harry Smith says. Some people say it's like 1870s and 90s. Some people say it comes from this Irish song, which is on the handout, has the word puppy in the title.
What does that mean?
I thought it was like a rascal.
Uh-huh.
A rascal. There's that, and like the other Boundary song from the States, it's different from the English gospel. It's not impersonal. It has this, the first verse tells you who the guy is and what's going to happen roughly. There's a humor of a certain kind, like it. The last verse, or the second to last verse has, the last verse has, walking skeletons and that kind of thing, insults. Yeah. And I picked it actually because there's a Bob Dylan song that has the same tune, which I'll have to be careful not to sing because it's happened a few times. So yeah, that's the song.
Did you work out a key with him?
Yeah. Well,
You want it in D?
yeah.
Okay.
Want to sing us the first verse?
Yeah.
And then we'll do it all together.
You playing that?
Here soon.
My name is John Johanna and I came from Buffalo town. For 9 long years I've traveled this wide, wide world around. Through ups and downs and miseries and some good days I saw. But I never knew what misery was till I went to Arkansas.
Nice. Okay, let's all try it.
My name is John Johanna, came from Buffalo town. For 9 long years I've traveled this wide world around. Through ups and downs and miseries and some good days I saw. But I never knew what misery was till I went to Arkansas. I went up to the station, the operator to find. Told him my situation and where I wanted to ride. Says, hand me down $5 and a ticket you shall draw. That'll land you safely railway in the state of Arkansas. I rode up to this station, that chance to meet a friend. Alan Catcher was his name, although they called him Kane. His hair hung down in ragtails below his underjaw. He said he run the best hotel in the state of Arkansas. I followed my companion to his respective place. Saw pity and starvation was pictured on his face. His bread was old corn dodgers, his beef I could not chaw. He charged me 50 cents a day in the state of Arkansas. Got up next morning to catch that early train. Said, don't be in a hurry, lad, I have some land to drain. You'll get your 50 cents a day and all that you can chaw. You'll find yourself a different lad when you leave old Arkansas. I worked 6 weeks for the son of God, Alan Catcher was his name. He stood 7 feet 2 inches, as tall as Matthew Crane. I got so thin on sassafras tea, I could hide behind the straw. You bet I was a different lad when I left old Arkansas. Farewell, you old swamp rabbits, also you Dodger pills. Likewise, you walking skeletons who hold such brass heels. If you ever see my face again, I'll hand you down my paw. I'll be looking through a telescope from home to Arkansas.
Very good. Excellent. Good job. So this is not in our singing country?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's fine. That's not where you got it.
No.
No, but that was very well. Okay, so this is what we do every time. Remarks about last night's event? Anybody? Anybody have anything to say about Jeff Warner? Did you like it? Did he say things that were interesting? Anything in particular stand out? What'd you like the best? Sometimes it's the Jew's harp, sometimes it's the lumberjack.
The lumberjack is on YouTube, by the way. Jeff doing it. It's quite a good cut. So if you want to share it with your friends. What did you think about the different sources of the tunes that he came up with? What were some of the different sources? Appalachian folk music.
You know that big picture he showed you interviewing a woman, black woman named Sue Henry, who gave the song "Whole World in His Hands"? That was his mother holding that. Yeah. He forgot to say that. He said it other times, so I know.
That's all? That was the only source of material?
His parents? Come on. What other sources did he mention?
There was another family in New Hampshire who you mentioned. I don't remember the name.
The Fishes.
But, yeah, the Fishes. And he,
Yeah.
you mentioned that he was close enough to them that he would sing in their family reunion the songs that their, I think, great-grandmother played. And he had a picture of a great-grandmother at the time. And that was another source. A second source would be from he said his own tradition, that there was a man who showed a picture of himself seated like 3 years old. Maybe.
John Galusha's, guy from Ireland, yeah.
Galusha's, and that was another source.
Anybody else?
You mentioned Harry Smith's anthology.
Yes. The Harry Smith anthology, I mean, Lev now knows about it, is it's a collection of early recordings. You know, when those radio men went out and started recording, they were collecting sometimes from, you're going to read about this I think for Tuesday, in fact. They were sometimes recording from what we call the assembly tradition, that is from dances and public occasions, and sometimes from people in the back porch. But that's the earliest records, therefore, are a kind of record of what people knew and were singing early on, you know, before radio began to influence them. And so that's what Harry Smith's anthology is. But people say that it was very influential in the folk revival. But I never heard of the Harry Smith anthology, and I was right there in Greenwich Village, you know, playing in 57, 58, 59, 60, and so on at the beginning of the folk revival. I never heard of it till I was here in Cambridge much later. You too, Joni? Yeah. So I don't know who it influenced. I think it influenced Dave Van Ronk. It influenced some of the influential early revival singers, but not.
Influenced me.
It did? When did you hear Harry Smith?
Place, I think 51, 52,
Oh,
something like
wow.
that. And it was going all day long. And there was people coming out from New York to that.
Okay, that's again the influential revival singers were listening.
Rather than the academics.
Well, I wasn't an academic then; I was a high school kid. But rather than the hoi polloi, the kids who were beginning to be drawn to this music. So it's just, you know. So Pete was playing it. This is in early 50s?
Say
Came out
again who
52?
you were saying, because I couldn't hear you.
Louder.
All kinds of people that came up from New York. And Izzy Young's
Yeah.
shop in New York had it. And this recording went then and night while we were building Pete's house up there. hillside. And everybody knew, I'm going fishing, I'm going fishing, I'm going fishing too. Bet you like the mother might catch more fish than you. Any fish biting I could bake, got a little story out of it. And we all knew those songs, you know, because this was singers who were probably just a generation before Peter Paul and Mary, before Bob Dylan, before all of that.
Oh, absolutely before.
This was the 50s. We came through
Oh,
in the 50s.
that, right. So it's Dave Van, it's the people who are doing jug band music.
Mm-hmm. And the people who were learning banjos from Pete.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful collection, fantastic collection. The variety on it was astounding.
It's true.
Mm.
I could bring it in if you want to see. You could just look at the booklet that goes with the Harry Smith collection. It's pretty amazing. Well, shall we talk about our singing country? Should we sing a few songs together? Do you want to play something for us?
Well, I would like you to try singing one or two verses of the Arkansas song without accompaniment.
Okay.
You can do it.
Of course he can. He did it at home. Haven't you been doing it at home without a
True.
Yeah. Okay. And this is part of the discussion that we've been having.
I'm just curious more than anything else.
Okay.
Okay, Lev. You don't have to stand up. Just sit.
First two or?
Whatever.
First two maybe.
I like the way you made them scan. I thought that it was clear that you'd gone over it a number of times. I thought that was really good. Yeah. Whichever two you like.
My name is John Johanna, and I came from Buffalo town. For 9 long years I've traveled this wide, wide world around. Through ups and downs and miseries, and some good days I saw. But I never knew what misery was till I went to Arkansas. I went up to the station, the operator to find. Told him my situation and where I wanted to ride. Says, hand me down $5, lad, a ticket you shall draw. That'll land you safely railway in the state of Arkansas.
Did it feel any different to singing with George's accompaniment?
Yeah, it's
In what way?
hard to keep notes, I guess, because you don't
It's
have
hard to.
to hit notes correctly because you don't have a piano reminding you what the notes are.
You did though. You hit them absolutely.
Did I?
Yeah, you did it
I
just
think I
right.
shifted some of the.
No, so right. You know, you started making it your own by doing that, by not being guided by something else. Well, just a tip for when you're singing with other people and you're expected to sing along with that person. Your easiest way to do that so that you have the same pronunciations that he does is you memorize the line. You look at it and you just say, okay, that line is in my head, and now I will watch him singing it. And you lip read him. You lip read his rhythms, and then quick, you look down at the next line. He stood 7 feet, 2 inches tall as anything. And then you look and you sing, he stood 7 feet. And you will find you are immediately all singing the same rhythm. Because we do lip read easily. If you just say, you know, like the little one instrument could, I can do this, I can do this. You know, I could hum something with you and you wouldn't even know what I was humming, but I could make you follow. You know? Do this. Just hum it.
All of us?
Everybody, what are you? Now change your note whenever I do. Easier than you thought. You know, it's something we used to do at Greenham Common. Cops thought it was absolutely amazing because we do it for 50 minutes, an hour, and they said, how do you memorize it? You don't. You know, it's just everybody's following each other. You're feeding in. The minute you hear that slight change, you will follow it. And often when you're asked to sing a chorus, you do it your own way and make it hell for the singer that's trying to get you all to sing together. But you lip read them, and you do exactly what they say to do instead of trying to be yourself. You know, then you find that you are all singing together. I thought you actually did a pretty good job, but there were a couple of places where you really, you know, as they say in England, you came a cropper. Didn't work at all.
Lev mentioned last night, what is the modal structure of this tune?
I think it's Dorian.
It's Dorian and
Leave out the 2 and the 6.
leaves out the
Leave out E and B.
yeah, leaves out the 2 and the 6. Yep.
Tell how your mother taught you about modes.
Oh, she started teaching me piano when I asked her. By the way, that sound my coach wrote him against the seat, not something else. I'm supposed to have. I was learning the piano from the age of 6, and she started by teaching me folk songs on the piano, teaching me to accompany folk songs, not by doing scales or anything. So she made me learn the Irish washerwoman, all her modes, including one that she called the Arabian mode, which was da 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 da. It was C, D, E flat, and F sharp, and then G, and then B flat, and then C. So I had to do the Irish washerwoman. Da 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 da. I had to learn all of the modes.
And all the keys.
And all the keys.
And all the keys.
Yeah. Oh, it was great fun.
She once said to me, "You haven't lived till you've done the Irish washerwoman in C sharp, mixolydian."
Came very useful because I was doing a concert with Pete about 3 years ago, and he was very forgetful, and he left his capo on. And off he launches into, I think it was turn, 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 or something, and I was playing the piano. And he launches into it, and I launch into it. We had practiced it in C. He had his capo on. He was doing C sharp. And so I stopped, and oh, you're sitting there. I said, "Pete, you're in C sharp." He said, "No, yes, I am. Let's try it in C sharp."
Oh, God.
And so, I could tell who could play the piano out there by the expressions on their faces. C sharp's a hell of a key to play it. So anyway, it was very useful. It does come in handy. So I got a really good classical music education. And as I was leafing through, I haven't looked at our singing country in ages, and I've learned a lot of songs from it. And I'm absolutely astounded that I had changed some of them, And some of them I've even added verses to out of other versions. I was referring to myself last night as a folklorist's nightmare, because I never know where I got what I do. But I was steeped in the music for all of my childhood, from very earliest on. I burned my foot very badly when I was 2, and I was put in a hospital. And I contracted strep throat while I was in hospital. They put me in isolation, so my parents couldn't see me. But they heard me singing, "In Scarlet Town, where I was born, there was a fairy dwelling," hearing it down the corridor, and I knew it all the way through at age 2, because it was played to me, not written down on anything, but couldn't read anyway. So I osmosed it in. And this is why it will be hard maybe for some of you to learn these ways of singing, because you have to do, a quick PhD in osmosis to do this, to get the ways of singing that will help you do these. Actually, you did it extremely well. I was waiting to see if you were going to go out of strict rhythm. Could you do it? A bit out. My name is John Johanna, da 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 da. Da 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 da. Could you do it that way so that you're out of rhythm? So it's a phrase, then a phrase. Try it at home, it's safe. And see what the difference is that it might make. Because what my mother did when she wrote these down, as she commented in here, if she had written them down the way they actually were, nobody could read them. They wouldn't have been able to read them, because they'd be going from 9/7 to 7.5 to 3 forward to 3/4 to 2 1/4 of a fourth to try and do it exactly.
Well, Little Bird actually does change
It does.
time signature.
Very, very clearly.
Yes.
But she wrote them in a time signature and then said, "Don't pay attention to the time signature." The time signature is in what we call rhythm. It's the feet. And what you might want to do with some of these singing unaccompanied is follow the heart, which is pulse. There's a difference, a big difference. And it often emphasizes different words that you might not emphasize if you sing it in rhythm. And these are very simplistic, these transcriptions, extremely simplistic. They are so that you can use them as a jumping off point. But using them as a jumping off point without steeping yourself in where you're jumping to and what you're jumping from might be a little bit of a problem. So that's why you have to listen to a lot of recordings. If you can get the original recording of John Johanna, you'd be absolutely astounded at his tone of voice. Try imitating him. My name is John Johanna. Whoa, that's different. And it's wonderful for any music student or anybody who wants to sing. Just imitate these and see how do they actually do that. You know? Because it carries, as my mother said here, no one who has studied these or similar recordings can deny that the song and its singing are indissolubly connected.
What
That
page?
the character of a song,
What page you are?
it's on XXX,
XXX.
that the character of a song depends to a great extent on the manner of its singing. That doesn't mean because the song is sad that you got to sit there with a sad look on your face. It doesn't always mean that the song itself carries a manner of singing. It's just that they are indissolubly connected, or should be, until somebody decides they're going to record it with some trumpets and bassoons and symphony drum and put it on the web or something, which case it's very different. So we will talk about style of singing at some point, which is that.
Do you want to go through those items or not? You do whatever you want to do.
I'll sing when we watch just in case.
Oh,
we forget.
good.
Just in case we forget.
This was my extra special.
I wouldn't get a lift anywhere unless I do this. Don't get anything. Now, George,
Say what it is.
I'll go. George, correct me if I'm out of tune, because I'm lousy at tuning and I don't have a tune. And this is not my banjo. It's slipping. Come on, baby.
Sounds good.
Well, when he starts looking pain, that's what it's going out to. Only Wise was killed by her lover in, I think it was 1808, 1809. I forget what state it was. I think it might have been North Carolina. Naomi Wise, as is sometimes known as, or Omo Wise, or Omi Wise. And it's one of the many murder ballads that we have. I'm not too sure that I know anything except Frankie and Johnny where she kills him. It's always him killing her. Not so much new.
And it's a particularly American genre.
Yes, because it was a frontier country for several hundred years. You know. And these were a form of newspaper. Learn this song and you'll get an A. Learn the banjo, you'll lose your fat man friends. I'll tell you the story of little Mama Wise, how she was deluded by John Lewis's wife.